Welcome to the Net of Light, continuing online teachings. We'll be spending maybe 40 minutes together today, sharing the latest messages and information from the grandmothers vis-a-vis working with the elements on Earth now, because there's so many Earth changes and many of them violent and difficult in their impact. The grandmothers have asked us to begin to work steadily with the elements of Earth, which are earth, air, fire, and water, the basic four elements. And today, we will also go into the fifth and final element, which we've been holding off on for a while so you could get really grounded in working with the four basic ones, the earth, the air, the fire, and the water. So this is what we'll be doing. And we have two of our family members with us today. We have Nicole from Germany, who's going to talk with us a little bit about what's going on in Germany, which is pretty terrific with this work. And then we have Harriet from New York, who's going to also lead us in the Net of Light meditation, which she does with a phone consultation, or what do we call it? Conference call, every Wednesday at 12:15 noon time, New York time. So Harriet will do that. And I'm going to ask if Nicole, if you would start us off with the Ancestral Declaration, which I believe is in the second one of the grandmother's books, Our Love is Our Power. We'll just sit down and we'll participate with you, Nicole, as you remind us of this Ancestral Declaration.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. I call upon the Net of Light and affirm my union with the divine. I honor my loving connection with those living today, those who lived in other times, and those yet to be born. Love is not limited by the calendar or by the clock. Each of us is an eternal being, part of the one love. Recalling this truth, I bow my head in gratitude, saluting the love within my higher consciousness and within the higher consciousness of everyone else. I invite the ancestors of my family line and the ancestors of the land where I live to join me in this blessing work. I welcome all who love and serve the light to connect within the Net of Light. As we gather together, I ask forgiveness for my past ignorance and small-mindedness. I no longer wish to judge and criticize others, nor do I wish to judge and criticize myself. I also gladly forgive anyone who ever judged or criticized me. I am able to do this with ease each time I remember that it is the breath of the one love that breathes through me and the beat of the one heart that pumps life through me. My immortal self exists outside the limitations of action and beyond the circumstances of time and place. So as I turn to this presence within me, all pain from the past, as well as any fear of the future, falls away. All is forgiven. With my heart open wide, I offer blessings to all beings everywhere. And as we joyously embrace one another, together we sing, may everyone in all the worlds be happy. May everyone in all the worlds be happy. May everyone in all the worlds be happy.
Thank you, Nicole. And Harriet, if you would lead us in the Net of Light meditation, that would be perfect.
Thank you. Right now, please take a deep cleansing breath. Exhale. Sit up tall and straight in your chair, your hands on your lap, or lie down, but your back is to be straight. This is the time now to set aside anxiety, fear, anything that is worldly that is taking you from your heart center. Put it aside for this meeting. Take all that you are and drop it deeply into your heart as you ready yourself for the net of light. Now think of the great net of light that holds the earth. The grandmothers have asked and have said that this is the net of light that will hold the earth during these times of change which are upon us now. Everything is shifting now. The net of light will hold the earth while the energies of the yin and yang shift. The net of light is eternally steady. It embraces, it embodies, and it holds everything and everyone that lives. Think of it as a great lighted fishing net that covers the earth farther than your eyes can see. The net of light covers the earth from above, from below, and permeates the earth like a great grid. It penetrates and holds and touches everyone. Now go forward and take your place on the net of light, somewhere where two of these strands come together is a place that you will feel that is just right for you. Or ask the grandmothers to direct you to a specific location in the net of light that is in particular great need. Then sit down there and let the net of light hold you. Feel it pass through your energy field and body, infusing every cell with light. It is the fabric of your being. It is the fabric of the universe. Breathe with it. You are in harmony with the net of light. You are deeply connected with the net of light. The net of light is lit by the radiance of your own heart. It is the purity of your heart. What the grandmothers call the jewel of the heart that lights the net. And the great love that flows out from the pure heart sends light along those strands that flow all over the cosmos. As light flows from your heart to the net of light, instantly it washes back into your heart, filling your heart even more than it was before. So there's this intense and effortless giving and receiving of love and light through the strands of the net of light. This indeed is the net of light that will hold the earth during these times of change that are upon us now. Think of our union together in the net of light. We are connected deeply. And think of our union with all those who work with the net of light, no matter what they call it. Some call it the web of light, the grid, Indra's net. The physicists refer to it as the cosmic web. But know that it is the same construct. This is the fabric of being that holds the universe in its embrace. the radiant net of light. Let it hold you now and feel what it's like to be so fully supported, to effortlessly receive everything you need, even beyond what you think. The net of light is so deeply connected to you that it sends you everything you need instantly. The grandmothers have asked that each time we meet, we cast the net of light for all beings, and this we gladly do. So right now, we think of our union with all those around the planet, working with the net of light, working with the light within their own hearts, blessing all beings. We think of sacred and holy places upon our planet that are constantly charging the atmosphere with light. And we think of the great beings, the great saints, the sages, and the avatars who gladly give their lives in service. We think of the ancestors of the light, those who are no longer here in physical form, but whose love goes on and who wish also to help and serve and bless. And together in light, we cast the net of light to the human family, asking that wherever there is suffering, prejudice, depression, deprivation, or strife, fear, grief, anger, that the net of light penetrate more deeply, that every man, woman, and child receive what they most need. We cast the net of light to our ancestors, the maternal and paternal lines, and the ancestors of the land where we live. We cast to our Native American brothers and sisters, their elders and ancestors, that they too may receive what they most need. We cast the net of light to the leaders of this world. We beckon them to drop into their hearts and deep into the net of light, that they may lead with love, honor, compassion, understanding, for the highest good of this land, of this earth, and all living things. We cast to the brave nurses, doctors, medical support staff in hospitals, and the unsung heroes of the essential workers, and of course to all the COVID-19 patients. We cast to all those who feel alone and alienated, especially during this time, letting them know that they are deeply connected in love and light. We cast to those who have lived in the past and to those yet to be born, that all may be held forever and always within this embrace of love and light. We cast to the animal kingdom, asking that every animal receive what they most need. We cast to the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, to the nature spirits and elementals, to the marine life, rivers, and oceans of the world. We cast to the spirits of nature and the elements of earth, water, air, and fire, to receive what they need to balance and that they accept our apology for our past ignorance, and to be held in loving embrace within the net of light. We bless and give thanks and salute each one. The earth of our body and bones. We hold the water in our veins and blood, the air in our lungs as we breathe, and the life fire in our hearts. We cast to everything that lives, asking that blessings flow forth everywhere, and together we ask, may everyone in all the worlds be happy. May everyone in all the worlds be happy. May everyone in all the worlds be happy. Om. Peace, peace, peace.
Thank you, Harriet. Please pay attention now to how your body feels, because your body responds immediately, always, to the flow of energy. And the energy is more profound, higher, vibrating at a higher rate now. So just notice how you feel as you're held in this high frequency energy that feeds all your systems, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual at the same time. You can never overdo working with the net of light. Use it all the time. It's the truth of our being. We are woven of this fabric of being, of the universe. We are a living, breathing, walking part of the net of light. And so each time we think of it, it's like returning home for us. And because all of life is connected through the net of light, as we turn home to it, everyone gets to come home. It's this, I always say this, but it's true. It's this beautiful, selfish thing to do for yourself, at the same time, selfless thing that takes place for everyone else. The giving and receiving are concomitant. They're flowing at the same moment. We're going to do some more work today. But before we do, I'd like Nicole to give us kind of an update about what's going on in Germany with the grandmother's work. The grandmothers showed up back in September of 1996. So I've been at this a long time, and a lot of people have been at it with me for a long time. But gradually, bit by bit, their message spreads to different places on Earth. And at last, it has really landed in Germany. We have a publisher there. And so now there's a lot of life in the work in Germany. And Nicole has been just selfless in all her volunteer work for us in helping to anchor this work in Germany. So Nicole, if you could kind of just update us a little bit on what's happening there, it would educate us.
Okay, with pleasure. Well, there is the book out in Germany now, and it looks a little bit different to the English books. I hope you, there are quite a lot of reflections, but never mind. It looks a little bit different to the English books, but it's very, very, very well received in Germany. The first book of the grandmothers. The publisher has already run their second print, and it first was published in May 2020. And yeah, I do the background work in Germany. I run the grandmother's office. I do the administration, and there is Sanne, who is the regional coordinator for Germany. She takes care of all the groups and all the ladies, and yeah, ladies so far, that are interested in the grandmother's works. So she does passes on the empowerment. She coordinates the groups regionally. There is a lady, Joanna, in Switzerland. She does all the coordination work in Switzerland, taking care of groups and empowerment. We now have a beacon in Austria, and there are more and more people stepping up and come forward, wanting to be a beacon, and yeah, working with the net of light. And yeah, people realizing that they have been working with the net of light for quite a while, even though they didn't know it's called the net of light. So it's yeah, it's wonderful work.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you very much. I think you have you do a translation of the newsletter or something also, don't you?
Yes, that's right. I do the translation of the newsletter, and as soon as I receive it, usually 2 days later, I send it out in German. And yeah, that's the little background work.
Thank you. We so appreciate what you do. Everything we do at the grandmothers is done by volunteers. We all of us do that. It's just service, and so it's especially precious to have someone like you, Nicole.
I do it with a lot of pleasure. So I'm grateful that I can. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. So now I'm going to talk maybe for 15 minutes, probably max. That'll be maximum, about this working with the elements. It's been wonderful. The work that we're all doing, that you are all doing, is beautiful, beautiful work. And I've heard from so many people who've had these breakthroughs and aha experiences and enriching times in their lives because of this. The need is very, very great now for us to really weave together with Mother Nature and reclaim our oneness with her. For too long, we've all lived as though we were little things, little automaton things off on our own, rather than part of this weave of the life with the plants, the animals, the earth itself, the waters, the air. And so we're moving back to nature, back to our oneness with the whole of the earth, and our reverence for Mother Earth and for one another and for everything that lives. Because as we start falling into this awakening to and falling into and sinking into this oneness that we share with everything, we recognize that wherever we are, we're home. It's home. This place is home. And to know that in these extraordinarily alienating human times is beyond valuable. It's what we've all longed for, is to feel once again that we're all a part of this one love, that this place where we live, this planet Earth, makes sense, that we have a part to play here, that we can give and receive from Mother Earth, and enrich ourselves and enrich everyone as we do so. So for the past month, we've been working with the elements of earth, air, fire, and water to come awake to our relationship with them and to come awake to their relationship with us. Nature's been waiting for a long time for us to wake up enough to pay attention to her and to feel our connection with her. And here during this time of COVID, where we're so cut off from our normal lives and so much thrown upon ourselves, to entertain ourselves, to fill our days in a meaningful way, to think about what is our life really about. During this time is when they've said, turn now to nature and begin to mend the rift that's occurred over the centuries with her. And so this we gladly do. And we primarily do this through our use of the net of light, because for most of us who've been involved with this work with the grandmothers, we've been working with the net of light for a long time now. And it becomes, the more we work with it, the more natural it becomes. And we begin to see it and to feel it and to know that's happening all the time. And it's a beautiful coming home to ourselves and to our oneness with this family of life of which we are a part. We've worked with the 4 basic elements that we can actually see and feel and touch. And we've spent this month doing that purposefully because it's easier to recognize an element. If you can see the fire burning, you know, that's fire. You see the wind blowing. Right now, the wind is blowing the drapes here. And I can see that. And there's air and it's blowing. And you see the sun and there's the heat again of the fire. And then there's the water and I drink the water. And then I realize, there's the water and I'm part of it. And I walk upon the earth and I eat the fruits of the earth and I recognize, yes, there's the earth. The 5th element is more subtle and it's all pervasive. You've been working with it for a long, long time now. Through the 5th element, we work with the net of light. The 5th element is often called ether. And as opposed to air, which we think of as that we breathe in air and the wind blows the air, ether is has to do with space and the spaciousness, the limitlessness of our being, because there's no place where it is not. There is no place where space is not, where ether is not. And so this ether contains the fire, contains the water, contains the earth, contains the air, and there's a flow of all of them together. So we primarily use the ether whenever we pray, whenever we think of our love for another being, for a place, of a feeling of connection, of communion, community, that we are using ether there. And so we're constantly using it. But it's great to know that because it's another way of working with the elements. As we consciously recognize, I am sending my love, my essence to the fire in gratitude for it purging this world of all that's old and ready to go. I am sending my love, my gratitude to water for my intense gratitude for its bathing and healing and nurturing and filling and washing, cleansing. And I'm sending my gratitude to air for its purifying movement of the old away and bringing the new in. And I'm sending my gratitude to beloved Earth for all of her gifts that she continuously and endlessly gives to us. And we're using the ether to do that all the time. And each time we think like that, each time we think, of casting the net of light for this homeless group of people on the corner, of casting the net of light for the politicians who just keep getting into the mud more and more, of casting the net of light for this lonely person we know about who's suffering by themselves somewhere. Whenever we do that, we magnify the power of the ethers to do their job of helping harmonize and balance everything on earth. And we're part of that. So it's a seamless activity that you've already been involved in, probably since you were a little kid and learned to say your prayers, or sat there under the night sky and looked up at the stars and thought of the magnificence and the grandeur of it all and what does it mean. We've been dealing with the ether our entire life, but as we become conscious of it and think of it that way, I'm casting the net of light for the elements, and how perfect that is, because as I think of casting the net of light, I'm working with the ether for these other four elements that I can see and feel. I'm using this subtle one that I can't see and feel to really access those other ones. So it's a kind of grounding us more in the presence of all the elements to work with the ether itself. And we have the grandmothers, when they first came, they hadn't been maybe here for maybe 3 months before they told us about the net of light, and we didn't know what they were talking about or what is that, but we began to work with it right away. And then throughout all these years, 24 years now, it's gotten more rich, more multidimensional. Now we work with the ethers, we work with the net of light through the ether, with all the ancestral beings, because there's no limit to time and there's no limit to space. And we work with the elemental spirits, because we don't have to just stay on this plane of materiality when we're working this way. We are everywhere. Our reach is vast. And so it is the ether that enables that. So I'd like us together to recognize and give thanks right now for this fifth element, which has, for many of us, remained hidden because it is so very subtle. And because it's so pervasive that it hides in plain sight. It's always with us. And how grateful we are. And how grateful really we've always been to be able to raise our hearts in prayer, to lift up in meditation, to cast the net of light for all beings everywhere. And so I think, instead of me talking on, I don't have anything that's really that important to say right now. I think what we'll do is we'll go within and we'll finish up that way today. So just be aware right now of our union, heart to heart. Many of us are linking now from all around the world, because we can do that through these Zoom connections. So we're connecting in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, South America, North America, and Canada. Well, that's North America. I was going to say Canada. She's right next door. We're all connected all over the earth. And we are a family of light. And we've all been called at this time to step into the light, to say yes to the power that we have, which is to hold light steady in this world which is shaking and quaking now as change moves. with tremendous velocity. And while change moves, as it does, rocking us and shocking us, we anchor light because it's our nature to do that, because we are part of the net of light. And the net of light is everywhere, and it holds steady always, no matter what. And so do we. Our minds may skitter off sometimes. We may get a little shaken by all this quaking. That's all right. We come back home to the net of light. Feel it now, under you, around you. You are anchored to and with and by this beautiful, radiant net of light, cosmic web that holds all life in the universe, from the most minute particle to the largest. Astrophysicists say this is the largest construct in the universe, this cosmic web, this net of light, and you are part of it. Let it hold you now, rock you, and enfold you as you receive. Every breath you take in brings in this great anchoring peace of the net of light. And every breath you breathe out sends that anchoring peace throughout the strands of the net of light. And automatically it goes to wherever it's most needed. We can think of particular areas that need help and think of sending there, and that's perfectly fine. But also know that the net of light is everywhere and is fully conscious and alive and knows where the need is the greatest and always sends wherever that is. Know also that as you connect to the net of light, because of the nature of it, all those that you love, all those who are connected with you, also connect with the net of light. It's this seamless, loving connection that knows no limit. Each time you say yes to the net of light, to your oneness with all beings, everything on earth benefits. The grandmothers are not joking when they say you are a walking blessing upon this earth. That is who you are. And life will try to distract you because that's the nature of life. It's okay. But always you can return home. You are a radiant jewel in the net of light. And we give thanks now for this family of light, this growing family of light of which we are a part. And we ask that the net of light bless everything and everyone and every situation it touches, so that truly all the beings in all the worlds be happy. And that includes us. You are greatly loved. We are greatly loved. And what a joy it is to feel this love with all of you and share it together like this. And we'll meet again in 2 weeks. I don't know what the grandmothers will have for us, but they always have something. And if you want to be on our email list, just send us a note so we know. If you want to find out about Harriet's Net of Light meditation every Wednesday at 12:15 New York time. We can let you know about that. There are different Zoom groups meeting around the world because we're not able yet to meet in our normal groups, which we are eager to do. But until then, we have these Zoom groups. And if you want to find those, also contact us. You can contact us always through netoflight.org. So bless you now, you walking blessing upon the earth. You see you in a couple weeks.